How are we doing? So, kind of a slow financial morning. The big news of the day is it looks like it's official. The UAW and GM strike is over, which is good news for I really think good news for the country. Anytime you can send at least 50,000 people and probably a lot more back to work, that's good for our economy, given we are a consumer-based economy. And now I'm sure the UAW will focus on Ford or someone else. So, um, let's hope it's shorter next time. Because what was this, like 5 or 6 weeks? But what I want to do in this particular episode is really bring up a topic where I want some interaction. I'd love to hear from you. I got a question last night from a subscriber about the national debt and kind of what my thoughts are. This is a big topic. It has a lot of emotion wrapped up in it for lots of people on entirely different sides of the political spectrum. And I'm going to give you my sort of thoughts on all things national debt. But again, I'd love to hear from you. I think there's some scary scenarios when you think of the national debt, just given how big it is. There's some people that maybe are on the entire other end. It's like, don't worry, don't bother. Nothing bad will happen. So first off, you know, I think I was a teenager. I might even been younger when they made a big deal about the national debt and that clock. I think it's in New York that would always go by. So first and foremost, realize that the national debt has been a topic of political or financial news for at least 40 years. So this is not a new topic. So realize that. But when I look at the national debt, I first look at two things. What's the sheer amount, which at any one time doesn't make me nervous. I think it's crazy to talk about $20 trillion, which is just a big, scary number. But for me, it's not the total, it's the rate that kind of makes me nervous, right? I think we've added roughly 2 trillion with a T to the national debt in the last couple of years. And I, for one, don't think that rate of national debt addition is frankly acceptable or a good thing, especially in good times, right? We've had the best economy in seemingly certainly my adult life. And we should be adding to our national debt at a crazy clip if we were in a recession, try and get people back to work and things like that. We have 3.5% unemployment last I checked, or maybe it was 3.4. This is the time to be paying off debt. Just like you and I as people and companies, when times are good, right, you pay off debt. And when times are bad, you kind of take on debt and push it out and things of that nature. So again, I'm not really concerned about the amount, as crazy as that sounds, but I am nervous about the rate. That makes me nervous. A couple of other things is, you could think about, do we have a revenue problem or a spending problem? It's revenue would be taxes in this instance. I think there's no question the U.S. has a spending problem. I think the government is kind of the worst spender, leading by example out there. I think there's lots of waste. I think it's a hard problem. I don't propose to have an easy solution for it. But I can say this: we have to stop giving stuff away. I see a lot of the people talking about giving stuff away, education, healthcare. I just don't know where they think they're going to get this stuff paid from, right? Yeah, sure, you can tax some folks, but I don't know, right? At some point, you drive away tax dollars because they go somewhere else, which is the crazy plan in all of this, right? If you can put together a plan that says, hey, we're going to tax these people at this rate, and we're going to pay for these free services. What happens if the people you're taxing leave? You, this isn't a communist state. They have free will. They can leave, and then you can't tax anybody, and then you already have the promises. So we have to stop giving stuff away. We have to make it. We just have to fix this rate, right? We're giving stuff away. We're not collecting enough revenue. It's not good. Another question I ask myself all the time is, can the U.S. default? We can, absolutely, right? There's nothing written down that says we can't. We certainly can. I don't think we will, but we can, right? Those are very different things. Um, if we did default, or the threat of default came to be, right, because we couldn't pay the debt service every year, which is a real risk, um, interest rates would rise significantly and sharply. The cost of doing business would increase, and I think inflation would increase. So lots of potentially bad things. Um, the one thing that really scares me with our debt, besides the rate, is what happens if interest rates rise and we can't service our debt. That means debt on debt, sort of like the 2007-8 collapse. That scares me. Um, if that were to happen, the dollar would collapse. Where should you invest? I don't know. I wouldn't know where to put the money. I know that the best place for me is going to be in assets with fixed rate debt, so it can't be raised. Um, it'll be stuff paid off by others. Shelter is still a requirement, right? Water, food, shelter. Um, obviously I'm a real estate guy, so my opinion shouldn't matter, right? Because I'm probably very biased. But that's interesting. The other thing that I thought was interesting is, do you know who owns most debt? Most people say China, and I thought China, but it's actually our Social Security Trust Fund. So we collectively own most of our debt. So defaulting on ourselves, that doesn't sound like a good plan to me. So in the end, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this national debt? What should we do? What scares you? What doesn't scare you? I'd love to hear from you. This is a big thing. It's been talked about for 40 years, so it's not an urgent must do something today. But I would love to hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts. Leave a comments below. Always feel free to ask questions. I love thinking about this stuff. Have a great day, and I got an exciting interview for you later in the day. Take care. Bye.